Do you ever feel like you are doing all the right things? You're reading, you're praying, and you're waiting, but all you're getting back is perhaps silence from heaven. You might look at other people sharing these electrifying experiences with God and Him speaking to them and think, am I doing this wrong? Is there a secret frequency that I am totally missing? Perhaps you're asking, how do I hear from God? Because you're tired of the second guessing. Well, my friend, take heart. You are in the right place because we're going to talk all about this today. And by the end of today's episode, you will understand that hearing from God isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. It is a refined relationship that evolves as you grow. We're going to help you solve feeling spiritually deaf by showing you that God's voice often sounds like your own best voice in your mind and heart. We're moving from hoping for a signal to recognizing God's whisper. Stay tuned. Ordinary women, extraordinary faith. When God calls, we say yes. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Arise Women of God podcast. I'm your host, Tamara K. Anderson, and today I'm joined by the wonderful Wendi Christensen, my co-founder, and Kari Anjewierden, who is part of our Women Warriors of Light advisory board. And today I'm taking you on a journey through the different dialects God has used to speak through the years. First, I'll share how it all started. A feeling of peace during a church hymn. Second, we'll talk about the learning to walk analogy and why it's okay to stumble while you're calibrating your ears. Third, we'll talk about the law of the tree, understanding why God gives us a seed of revelation before the giant oak of an answer appears. And finally, we'll talk about how that relationship becomes refined by quiet and constant knowing as we age. When I was young, I thought hearing from God had to be some grand event. I remember sitting in the pews one time and feeling this overwhelming sense of peace as we sang. Music is one of my love languages with God, and to me that day, He was speaking through that song to my heart and soul, letting me know that what I was singing about was true, that He did love me. As a teenager, I wanted more. And so I took a big life-altering question to Him, expecting this spiritual lightning bolt and tingles all over my body like I'd heard other people talk about. I knelt and asked, God, is your word true? I didn't get the lightning bolt or the tingles, but I did hear God's whisper. Tamara, you already know it's true. No fireworks, just a quiet prompt, reminding me and making me pause and think, when have I felt God? And I realized He was right. I did already know it was true. When I was a missionary, helping bring other people to Jesus Christ, I knelt with them and had some powerful, electrifying experiences like I'd wished for when I was younger. And now, as a mother, wife, and business owner, tuning my spiritual antenna towards God has become a little more refined because I've practiced through the years. It's often a whisper or a knowing in my mind or heart, or following my motherly intuition. I often check with my gut to see, how do I feel about this? And can discern when a path is wrong or right, or when I need to do some more digging before I get an answer. My relationship with God has evolved and been refined through the years, from something simple to a beautiful dialogue. But don't worry, if you don't feel you're fluent in God's language yet, please don't get discouraged. We all have to go through the toddler phase of revelation and how sometimes we stumble our way into clarity. Just like a kid learning to walk, we're going to start out and we're going to stumble and we're going to fall. We're going to get a couple bumps on our head and it's okay. But sooner versus later, if you just keep trying, you're going to be not only walking with God, you're going to be running alongside Him, and He's communicating with you and you're communicating with Him. And it grows, that capacity, that relationship, communicating and hearing God speak to you grows little by little until you're confident, hey, I'm hearing Him and I know I'm hearing Him. And this is how He speaks to me.
I love that. Well, and can I add also that I think sometimes it is that practice that helps God know that we are serious, that we really want that relationship, and it takes us putting in a little bit more effort then sometimes maybe we want to. I know I'm guilty of that often of, I'm I call them ceiling prayers because maybe I'm not putting in the effort enough that they're not going past my ceiling.
Part of that growth is realizing that God doesn't usually hand you a whole entire dictionary all at once. He gives you a line here and a paragraph there. In the scriptures, we call it the line upon line, precept upon precept principle. In our roadmap to Revelation, we call it the law of the tree. You don't have to have fancy words or anything like that. Just start where you are today and begin the conversation. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. Just start there. And then you can begin asking questions like, hey, I want to learn how you speak to me. What does a yes feel like? What does a no feel like? What does hey, you're going to have to wait for that answer, or maybe ask a different question. What does that feel like? And be patient. We call it the growth process, the law of the tree. It's like you're not going to have a sprung up ginormous oak tree if you're planting the seeds today by tomorrow, right? It's going to swell and then burst forth, and then it's going to start growing little bits by little bits. So same thing here is that you're going to begin moving forward in your journey of learning how you speak best to God and how he best responds to you little by little. Any thoughts on those things, Wendi?
I think that's beautiful. Just start where your heart is. The important thing is just reaching out to him. And then, as you were talking, the other thing I thought was I get different answers, and that's okay too. But the biggest thing is to be aware. So I would encourage people to just be more alert and be more aware of how God could be talking to them. Because answers can come in such a variety of ways. I have a friend that she sees God through butterflies, and that's how she sees God in her life. And I love that she has that. I like to see him through sunsets or through another friend saying something kind to me or noticing a struggle or a challenge or saying something that I needed that day. That's God speaking back to me. Sometimes it isn't always just me kneeling down and hearing. So, yes, sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. Just be aware and start looking and noticing, because God's answers can also come in a huge variety of ways. And the more aware you are, the more you'll see him answering you.
I love that. I think one of the keys to no matter how God is speaking to you back is to have time where you're being still and you're listening. So, my friends, God starts with the messy and he loves us in the messy. As my co-founder Wendi often says, you don't have to wait for your life to be perfect to start listening and to start a conversation with God. Start exactly where you are today. To help you move from those simple first steps into a refined dialogue, we want to give you this amazing roadmap to revelation. 6 steps to hearing God in your daily life. It's a free download PDF that has an accompanying Receiving Light and Revelation audio meditation to help you prepare to receive and hear and discern God speaking to you for free on our website or by clicking the link below. In this guide, I want you to specifically look up step 2, finding your divine frequency. It's the same process I used to help me move into knowing from that unsure feeling. We also guide you through step 3, which is the growth process, so you can have the patience while your oak tree of revelation grows. So my friend, you are meant to hear God. Go to him. Ask him to help you and to teach you how you hear him, what a yes feels like, what a no feels like, and to help you remove any blocks that are keeping you from hearing him. So go listen for the whisper. And until next time, may you arise, do it God's way, God strong.